One of the great leaders of all times, the great Frederick Douglass, always stated there is no struggle without progress. That also applies to us in these conditions that we are in right now. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I've seen many eras in the 46 years of my life. I experienced the crack era, the crack epidemic. I experienced 9/11. I've also experienced this recent shutdown of the government with the pandemic. I experienced Hurricane Katrina. I'm sure it's many others who experienced way many different eras, like my mother. She experienced when Martin Luther King was assassinated. She experienced the 70s era, which I was born in the 70s, at the end of the 70s. And there's many other friends who experienced the eras as well. But this era right here, I remember the murder capital eras where guys were getting killed rapidly, daily, 3 and 4 to 5, 6 homicides a day. Now, we're now what they call the so-called, I hate the terminology, the YN era, where a lot of these youngins don't apply the rules that were once applied back in the days to keep the civilians off limits. I remember when the old guys back in the day, they were doing their dirt, but I remember them making us clean up the trash while we was out there and trying to keep the beautified. And it's an oxymoron because they definitely was selling poison to the people, but they still had somewhat some of those good principles that was passed down before crack invaded the community and took all the morals out. Now, I don't want to only blame the YNs, the so-called, because I hate the goddamn terminology, the so-called young black gods. I don't want to totally blame them for these conditions and this mindset they are in, because they were inherited this mindset. They were inherited people not teaching them how to move, how to be guided. A lot of their fathers were gone due to the era of mass incarceration. So when it comes to policing, I have no problem with them securing, making people feel safe in the communities, but I think the lockup only solution is not the answer. So yeah, I do disapprove of just thinking you're going to lock up the whole neighborhood, that is going to cure the situation that has been inherited to these young men and women in our community. Now, let me tell you this. When I did my last video was explaining the solution more than the problem. Now, I said I didn't have a problem with the police coming into the community, and I still don't have a problem. But what I do have a problem with is, what are you going to put in place to fix the community? Because you just can't lock up. We tried that philosophy, and that lockup only philosophy caused these conditions. The conditions of these youngins not having a father to raise them, not having a father to guide them. I was fortunate during the crack era that my mother and father stayed clear from the crack. So, and they were still together. So I had a mother and a father balance system. We have to get back to teaching our children. Not only should you find a mate to have a baby with, you should always find a mate to build a legacy with, build a family with, to create a dynasty with. With man and woman into the life, you increase the chances of your children becoming a success. And I'm not only speaking on success as when it comes to financial success, I'm speaking on success of fatherhood, success of motherhood, success of nurturing, success of building a community within a community. And that community within the community is your family. Your immediate family is your first priority. Your job as a parent is to guide or become a guide for your offspring. And when you become a guide for your offspring, he's able to have, he or she is able to have a map. And that map is a navigational system of life. And most times, the person that gives that navigational system is the mother or the father. The mother teaches the daughter how to become a great wife and a great mother, and the father teaches the son how to become a great protector, provider, and a great father. So at this time, we must learn the importance of the family structure. We have so many distractions now through to the social media. We have distractions that go beyond this time frame of social media to the music we listen to, where we were taught to not love a woman. And social media teaches women not to love men. And so they understand how to break down the structure. The family is the first line of defense of mother and father. Mother and father is the most important asset for a child's development because they get protection and nurturing in the same system. We as a people must get back on the family structure. We must get back on providing and protecting. We must make providing and protecting the nucleus behind our development. We as a people are guided by ancestors that are of the unseen, but of the all. And those ancestors are putting us in this situation to remind us of who we once were. As I stated in the beginning, the great Frederick Douglass said, without progress, without struggle, there's no progress. This progression that's taking place within our community was necessary because we were asleep behind the wheel since the 1980s. Since 1986, we've been asleep behind the wheel. DC has always been the prototype for America during the crack era. DC has always been the experiment for America since 1986, when crack first touched upon our streets. DC has always been the first stop before the other stop. Now, crack was not the first stop. DC was not the first stop of crack, but DC had a devastation, was one of the most devastated places that happened in America. DC was one of the places that went through a homicide rate that was ridiculous. I remember in 1992 or 3, the Ku Klux Klan didn't murder 6,000 people. Black men were murdering themselves daily. Black men were murdering women daily. The destruction of our community where black men were serving poison to our community daily. Now, let me tell you this. He don't get off the hook, and I would never let him off the hook. Of course, he was flooding the community with it. We didn't own the boats. We never owned a boat and got it over here. The boats were sent here deliberately, but that's another conversation. The conversation right now is about self-accountability that we have done to ourselves because we accepted it. And we were out here causing the destruction during that time frame. So the solution to me must be what caused this problem, how can we fix this problem, and how can we build our communities up ourselves? Because we already know this. There's nobody from an outside source that's going to be able to fix our conditions but ourselves. And we have to start since they want to create us the prototype, Washington, D.C., let's create a prototype for our people to understand. And that prototype is we must become educated. We must develop skills in the trade systems. We must create our own businesses. Start back buying up our own community. We don't own, I grew up born and raised on Minnesota Avenue. And what do we own? It's someone that doesn't look nothing nowhere near you, live nowhere near you, don't want to be nowhere near you, but will take every goddamn dollar he can from you. Now that's another loss right there. Because the dollars that we get goes back into someone else's hands, go into someone else's communities. So we now have to start back buying black businesses that make sense. No one should be feeding us but us. No one should be clothing us but us. No one should be. One day we have to learn that you want to build a community and claim a community. We have to start building businesses. We have to start going back to the knowledge of self, going back to building up something where we can protect amongst us. It shouldn't be one billionaire amongst 500 people or 1 million people. It should be multiple billionaires where we can go with each other. When we go to the table, for example, if we want a politician to follow something the way it needs to be followed, we need to buy that politician. We should already buy into his campaign. That's how we get things changed. We have to buy into the community. We have to build in. We have to understand we have one common goal. And our common goal is to make sure we improve our lives and our livelihoods and our quality of life. That need to be improved. In order to do that, we just can't keep voting for this person just because they are part of some party affiliation. We're not party affiliated. We're voting based upon our interests. That's why we're being taken advantage of. Because we continuously keep voting for groups of people who keep doing the same thing over. They take our vote for granted and they make no difference to our community. They throw you a holiday here and there and you think that's something good. We need the policies to match our conditions. We need the policies to improve our conditions. We need the policies to build our family structure back together. The government shouldn't be raising our children. Look at the results of this, where the fathers are no longer in the family's household. Now this young man is out here listening to his mother on the telephone gossip about the conditions, about someone else and what someone else has and don't have. He hears this all day. So he's listening to his mother be jealous about what someone else has. And guess what? He wants it, so he takes it because that's all he hears every day. These conditions are not by accident. These conditions are by design. But guess what? We have to be the artists of our own design. Our people are in the worst conditions that we have ever been in. My father stated that long time ago that this black man, and he was speaking in the 1990s. He said, this is the most selfish black man that ever exists on planet Earth. I didn't understand, and I asked him, why would you say that? And my father said, he's the most selfish black man that ever exists on planet Earth because he will seek and destroy his own community for his own profit. He will sell your mother or his friend's mother a poison for his own benefit. He will sell destruction to his own community so he can be the king of it. Now listen, I'm not knocking no brother that done it, that sold it and above. That thing was, but it goes beyond your understanding as well, because you was a young poor man in America and you saw that opportunity, so you used it. But at the same token, the knowledge of self tells you that that's not the right thing to do. The knowledge of self tells you that your people are just as important as you are. The knowledge of self tells you that your people are more important than you are almost. But they are of you. So what you want for yourself, you should want for your brother. What you want for yourself, you should want for your sister. What you want for yourself, you should want for his mother, his father, a better way of life. Because one man alone amongst millions doing it, perishing, is not victory. It's a defeat within the defeat. Because soon as you get powerful, the other group of people will destroy that one rich man. You see it time and time again. Ask P. Diddy. Continue to go on as what I'm talking about. They can easily destroy because it's only one of you. And that's not power. That's just one rich black man. That's not power. Power is in unity. Power is in wisdom and understanding of who you are. Power is in understanding knowledge about you and the powers that you possess within you. That's where it's at. So, dear black men and women of America, dear black men and women of Washington, D.C., the problem is not only YNs, which I call YGs. The family structure is not intact. Man and woman are more divided today than they have ever been in the history of the earth. Man and woman are more divided today than they have ever been since 1960s, when there were large families with mother and father in the house. The government cannot raise your children, sister. Brother, the jail systems cannot make you a great father. So what we going to do? Are we willing to improve our conditions, or are we going to continuously fight amongst ourselves and keep destroying ourselves? Are we going to build a true community? And my community that I want, that we need to build, is one that can compete amongst everyone else. This is time. It's an opportunity. I see an opportunity from this more than I see a defeat. I see an opportunity because we were asleep behind the wheel for the past 60 plus years. Are you willing to build for your family? Are you willing to stop killing your brothers? Are you willing to stop selling poison to your brothers and sisters? Are you willing to stop scamming and scheming, trying to get by? Are you willing to stop scamming and scheming? Are you willing to stop giving up your freedom for financial gains? We must wake up, brothers and sisters, because it's not getting better. And we got to stop fucking lying to ourselves. Those days are over. The lies about us are over. We are lying to ourselves the most. I have nothing to say about another group of people when we ain't got our shit together. Until we get on the competitive playing field and stop being at the bottom of the list, we got work to do. And I send you with this, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. But this is coming straight from the heart, not a sheet of paper. And it's just how I feel about who we are. And I see the conditions. I want better for my future, but I don't want to be the only one getting better for my future. This is a requirement, and this is a responsibility of us all, because we are our weakest links. And to our brothers and sisters that's out there struggling, you can overcome it. We have many of those who came before us and set examples and overcame their worst behaviors. Brothers like Malcolm X, and the list can go on. I send you with the greeting words of peace and blessings to you all. May the ancestors wake us up.